What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here with the review for Black Ink Crew, Season 6, Episode 8, titled The Itty Bitty Kitty Committee. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into the video. Alright, so this episode, we still have some of the crew out in New Orleans and some of the people still out in Chicago. So, we start up in New Orleans and we see Ryan and Kitty. They're going to this place to, get some po' boys. And, once they do finish eating, Kitty and Ryan sit down with each other. And, Ryan is asking Kitty about what's going on up there in New York. And, why did she let those people turn on her? And, Kitty didn't let them turn on her. Again, like I said a few weeks ago, big mouth ass Sky decided that she has, to say Kitty and Ryan are fucking. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't get why it's any of C's business. I don't get why it's any of, Sky's business. I don't get why it's anybody's business if Kitty and Ryan were fucking. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So there, Kitty also tells him that, Charmaine said that, she opened her shop up down there in Chicago, that, if things ain't going too well up there in New York, for her to come down there and work with her. So then, Ryan does tell her, like, well, you know what, maybe you should do that. Like, I think it'd be good for you and for Charmaine if you, go down there and work for her. And you got people there who you know, so it's all good. So then we see Jess, she's on the phone, she calls Fly and she calls Prince. And, she's just checking on them to see how things are going with the shop, with them being down there in New Orleans. And, they say, we holding the ship down, like, everything is good. We got a client coming in today. And then, after they hang up with her, Fly is asking Prince about his situation with his baby mama. And, he tells him, like, things right now with us are good. Like, we had a conversation, and I think we're in a good spot right now. But I also had this court date that's coming, this court date. I went to jail 2 years ago, but I bailed myself out. And, I'm not really, me and her are just now getting this good spot with each other. And I don't really 100% want to tell her. I'm like, man, you might as well just tell her, like, that's the reason why she didn't want to be with you, because of this whole legal situation. So it might be beneficial for you just to sit there and say, hey, this is going on, da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. And let her figure out what she wants to do. And that is the more logical thing to me. But, yeah, let's move on, you guys. Alright, you guys, so this video might not be all that long because some of these scenes, it wasn't much to it. But let's get to this one scene that I definitely we're going to go ahead and talk about. And it's a scene that Don and Forrest sat down with the alleged baby mama and the alleged daughter. So, when they sit down, Ford, I don't know what's up with Ford. So he's talking to them, and it's kind of like he's trying to glaze over stuff, not necessarily trying to ruffle people's feathers. I don't know what it is, but he don't want to come out and say right flat out that he wants to do a DNA test. Now Don, on the other hand, is completely different. Now, I'm not gonna say I agree with what Don did, because I think Don did a little bit too much. But I get it. You want to be there for your brother. You want to make sure that everything is on the up and up. But I don't agree with what Don did. So Don pulled out the DNA test, and the girl's like, "You ain't finna swap my daughter." And granted, I get where she's coming from. That was done so impromptu, like. And I agree with what she said. If this was the case, we could have did this at the crib instead of coming to this restaurant and actually doing it. Which I agree with her about that. I agree with her about that. But here's my other thing. She got up and walked out the restaurant, and my thing was, if you feel strongly that Ford is your child's father, then why not just say, you know what, fuck it. You wrong, and you still would have been right to say to Don, this is fucked up. You wrong. What you got to do with this? You still would have been right to say all of that, but you could have said at the same time, what, this is kind of fucked up. I don't agree with this, but you know what? But I am confident that she, Ford is her father. So go ahead and just give me the cotton swab, and I'll swab my own daughter's mouth, and then we can move forward with that. But she went off, and then she went outside. production falling behind her, and they asked her, "Can we do this?" She said, "Oh, so this is what y'all doing." But then 20 minutes later, she comes back in agreeing to do it. I'm just like, so you just did all of this for what? It just really didn't make any sense. And then, like I said before, did I agree with Dawn's approach? Not at all. Did not agree with Dawn's approach, even in the slightest bit. But I think that her reaction was not the best reaction. Now, yes, it was. It wasn't the best reaction. Like I said, I do get the fact that she was upset because that is, I mean, that is something that they could have did, in private. They didn't have to do it in public. But you could have just said, you know what, forget this. I'm just gonna say we're just gonna kill it right here, right now, and do it, which she did, but she could have done it in the beginning. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So we do see back in New Orleans, it was Jess, Drea, and what's that other dude's name? Shit, I forget his name. Plug. Got it. This week I got his name, Plug. So we find out that they are about to go out on Bourbon Street. And it's so funny the fact that Jess cannot say Bourbon. So we see them, they're talking about going out. So it's going to be Jess, Plug, Drea, and Kitty, and Ryan. So they're going to go out. And this is also opportunity for Jess to tell Plug and Drea that, Charmaine had a conversation with Kitty about coming to work for them at Second City Inc. Now, granted, I do understand where Jess is coming from. She's her Charmaine's business partner. But, I mean, Charmaine doesn't necessarily have to run everything by you. It would be nice if she did that. But she doesn't necessarily have to do that. That's just something that, you prefer her to do. So, Charmaine and Neat come downstairs where they are. Now, the other three are kind of in a feelings because of the fact that, Kitty and Ryan are not really drinking. They kind of, turning down. Which, I mean, I guess I can get this part. Like, if we're going out to have a good time, why y'all gotta go? Like, if y'all gonna be like this boring, y'all don't have to come. But, I mean, number two, it ain't really got nothing to do with you. But, Charmaine says, what, y'all go out, y'all have a good time. She feels like her mom will be there with them in spirit. But what Charmaine is gonna do, she's gonna go stay home with her dad, which I'm like, oh, that is sweet. I like the fact that she said she's gonna stay with her dad, because I mean I know that man has got to be going through a lot. So then we do see them out on Bourbon Street, and Jess is a sloppy ass drunk. She's just laughing loud, but I mean she having a good time. So I'm not gonna really judge her too harshly about that. Now Kitty, however, was a little bit judgy for it, but I mean it is what it is. Don't really 100% care. But now the fact that she showed she just sitting there showing her titties to Ryan, I'm like, wow, this is what we're doing? Okay. And, Kitty's like, you know what, I'm over this, Ryan, let's dip out. And she and Ryan dipped out. I'm like, I don't really blame you. When the girl started showing her titties, I was like, okay, that's my cue to exit. But let's move on. Alright, you guys, so these next scenes, I'm probably going to group them together because they just weren't that much to me. So we see that Ryan, no. So we see Plug, Drea, and Jess. It's the morning after they went out to the club. And, they're hungover. They're talking about the fact that Ryan did not come home last night. And I'm like, well, why does that concern you guys that Ryan didn't come home? If Ryan didn't come home, that's Ryan's business. Ryan's a grown-ass man. Unless, Ryan dipped off with somebody that you guys did not know, then it would be a different story. Like, I would be worried about Ryan. If Ryan left with a random chick that he did not know and we didn't know, then I'd be worried. But he left with Kitty. So why are we concerned about it? And then Dre talking about if y'all are trying not to feed into the rumors, you're not doing a good job about it. I don't necessarily know if they're not trying to feed into the rumors or not, or if they just don't give a shit. They probably just don't give a shit. Now Drea was in her feelings because at the funeral, she spoke to Kitty and she tried to give Kitty a hug, and Kitty Kitty did speak to her, but Kitty, when she saw that she was trying to give her a hug, she looked at her, But then she said, she gave her the old church hug. Dre's in her feelings about that. Now, I think that's really stupid to have an issue, to have an issue with Kitty because she didn't give you a fucking hug. Like, she doesn't know you that well. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and hug somebody that I don't know. If I'm just meeting you for the first time, I'll shake your, I'll be like, how are you? I'm Gerald. Or Jerome, whichever name I say. Gerald, Jerome, JB, whichever name I say. I'm extending my hand to shake your hand. But as far as a hug, you're not getting that unless I've known you for years. You won't get that from me. So never expect a hug unless I know you. Like the fuck? So then Ryan does come in, and Jess wants to know where was Ryan the night before. I was with Ryan. Out having fun? What the fuck? It ain't got nothing to do with you. So then also Jess is talking about how she thinks that Kitty is bougie. Okay, if she's bougie, what they got to do with you? You not bougie, are you? Okay then. Like, what the hell? Y'all just at this point, I think y'all trying to find issues with Kitty, but it's not working necessarily. So then back in Chicago, we see Prince. He went out on a date with his little family. It was cute. He didn't tell him about his court date. He just telling Janice, I think that's her name, how, he wants to make things right with them, and that's pretty much it on that front. So then we also do see Charmaine and Kitty, so they went out, and, Charmaine is just telling Kitty what all, everything that she's dealing with. And, Kitty says, you know what, Charmaine, I will definitely come down and I'll work at the shop for you. But then before they go, she does tell her, like, girl, we went out last night and Jess was drunk as hell. Like, she was showing her titties, and she ain't got no titties, but she was showing her titties. Charmaine didn't really care, and I didn't care either. Like, shit, she's a grown-ass woman. Whatever she does outside of work, that's her business. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And also, I want to jump back. So when, they were talking about Kitty, about her coming to the shop, what does she do? What does she bring to the shop? I'm just like, oh, here we go with this shit. Now, your boss, Charmaine, what did she bring to the shop? For years at 9 Mag, what was she, the receptionist? Then she went to the celebrity concierge. Yeah. So for them to diminish Kitty like that, I didn't appreciate that, because Charmaine is almost similar to Kitty. So I didn't appreciate that at all. So then, we saw Ryan having a FaceTime conversation with Don, and it wasn't much to that. He was just catching him up on everything that's happening down there. How he saw Danielle, he saw Kitty, he saw who else did we see? Cat. So, he's just catching him up on that. And then we saw Prince. He met up with his lawyer, so she's telling him about his options. And technically, homie only really has one option: go to jail for 2 years, get out. Once he gets out, he can't get into any kind of trouble, especially with guns, or else he'll go away for a lot longer. So he got a decision to make. And then we did see Ford did a tattoo on the guy of his daughter, and it was a nice tattoo. I would never do a portrait on I couldn't do a portrait, because sometimes it doesn't necessarily always come out look like the person that you are getting a portrait of. So that's what a big fear of mine is with portraits. I would never do a portrait on my body, ever. Okay, so then we see everyone, they went out for the night, and, Kid tells them, hey, I've thought this over, and I'm going to come and work at the shop. I'm like, oh, there's going to be some drama next week. Which, guys, that was the episode, so be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything. If you share this video also, and if you guys want to follow me on social media, I am on Twitter at JB_the_CEO. Snapchat is Mr. GB_is to you, and Instagram is going to be Jbsayzwhat. So until the next video, you guys, peace out.